And for more reaction on the U.S. capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, let's bring in ABC News contributor, former assistant U.S. attorney, and the former chairman of the House Homeland Security Committee, John Katko. John, thanks for talking to me again. Now, when you heard this news, what was your immediate reaction?
Well, my first reaction was, wow, like I think everyone else. But then you had to really take a step back and think about it. Certainly, it's got a little raucous and caracas, but there's a lot more to it. I mean, we have to be concerned about what Maduro was doing there. He was closely allied with Iran, closely allied with Russia, and closely allied with China, and they were all exploiting that partnership to do bad things in our hemisphere, and that's a national security issue. Against this whole backdrop is the fact that he was indicted. He was charged in a federal court under a sealed indictment, and he was not recognized as a legitimate leader of Nicaragua. So the only question I have is, going in there is probably justified to some way, shape, or form, but they never informed Congress. And is that legal? Now, over the last 20 years, you can point to many instances of presidents from both administrations who have not followed the authorized use of military force doctrine to a letter. They've really kind of bent it to the breaking point. And I think that's what they did here again today. But, going forward, we got to think about this. And that is, are we getting ourselves into a quagmire like Afghanistan? Or is this more like when we went into Nicaragua, took out Ortega, went into the Philippines and took out Noriega? It seems like the latter, really, and that this is going to work out all right. But I think going forward, it's always a concern when the U.S. does these type of things, and that's why it doesn't happen that much. And the vice president's comments really concern me because she's acting like she's going to be very defiant. And if that happens, does a quagmire happen in Nicaragua? Now, take a step back from all that. What does this mean for some of the bad actors like China and Russia and Iran? Well, they're really nervous because now they're seeing a president who dropped a bomb, bunker busters in Iran, which was shocking in and of itself. And now he's done this here. And the person that no one's talking about yet, the country no one's talking about, is Cuba. Cuba has got a lot on the line here. They get the vast majority of their energy source from from Venezuela at a very discounted, if not free, price. And that regime is teetering on collapse as it is. And if the oil supply is cut off to Cuba, what's going to happen there? So there's a lot of moving parts still. Way too early to be seen what's going to happen. Was it really legal? I probably a gray area at best. And going forward, there's going to be a lot more questions than there are answers.
And I do want to talk about the legality of this, because that's exactly what's in the air right now, especially in D.C. Lawmakers on both sides, they're raising the question if this strike on Venezuela was even legal. Are you concerned about that?
Of course, yeah. Of course, as a member of Congress, we pass laws and say, look, this is law. Authorized use of military force doctrine. Here's a black letter law. And like I said, most presidents in the last 20 years have ignored that at some time or other in the course of their presidencies. And that's a concern. That doctrine needs to be strengthened. We need to put real teeth into that. And we need to encourage presidents to again start interacting with Congress and the Gang of Eight on both sides of the aisle, for sure. But what you're hearing is kind of that complaint from a technical standpoint. But I don't think many people are complaining that Maduro's out of there, because he was a bad actor and he was doing bad things. And he was the head of a cartel.